So just before we left London, we were out hunting for some stuff and ended up in Camden Market. And lo and behold, we stumbled upon yet another comic book shop. And this one is Mega City Comics. So let's just jump in and see what they have in store. Beautiful looking store. They had this blue boards and with yellow writings. It was really nice. It stood out from the rest of the shops out there, and they had a big display outside, right outside. The shop itself was not too big. It's small, as you guys can see, but it's crammed with comics you can see everywhere. They had few Funkos and stuff, but mostly they had a lot of back issues, and I loved jumping through these back issues. Look at that action comics, Superman stuff from the Bronze Age. You could go, end on end on that. I saw some beautiful Vampirella covers. The only part was it was too costly, I would say. Each of them typically on average was around £5 or up, so that was pretty costly. So that's why I dropped them. Otherwise, some really cool looking covers from Vampirella. And then they had some great Thor collections, mostly modern ones, nothing too spectacular ones. Not the Thor with the Jane Foster Thor, no, that was not there. But again, it was well packed and boarded. They had some different kind of packing. There's some omnibuys, the Marvel ones, and then they had huge selection of the modern comics and even classic illustrated. That's the first time I'm seeing them in a comic book shop. Typically you don't find them often, but they did have a small collection of that as well. But what I really enjoyed is how they've stacked up every nook and corner of this shop with comics, right? And you can see the number of people around there. They also had some Tintins and Asterix and stuff like that, but nothing too fancy there, and few Funko Pops. And I don't know why they are repeated so many times. I think they just had one or two exclusive ones and they just kept on putting it. And but the graphic novel trade paperback selection was pretty good, although I didn't see any discounts on them, so I was not going to pick up any of them. And then they had some dollar-pound bins. It's pound bins, I would say, but nothing fancy, not something great. And then they had these packs which had a set of comics together. Again, I was looking for some interesting sets, but again, all typical sets, nothing too fancy. Either someone really visited and picked out all the good stuff, so I didn't find anything too excited there. Only thing I spent time in was go through this back issues, Superman, New Teen Titans, Batman was there as well, but Vampirella was the one which caught my attention, simply because that was covers you don't typically find in many other shops which I visited in London. So this was a shop which had a lot of Vampirella collections. They also had some magazine sized issues, which is what actually I ended up picking, which I'll show you towards the end of the video. That was a super cool Venom cover. Venom also, they had a very limited selection. Marvel was decent, Wolverine, mostly modern age stuff, I would say. And then there was some X Factor stuff, and I saw the X Factor 1, didn't pick it up, again priced pretty heavily. And there was also some X-Men selection. They had good coverage in terms of covering all the popular characters or titles, but they didn't have too much depth, in the sense that they don't have too many keys, mostly modern ones or some Silver Age ones which are not great. So it's a good shop, but not something like I would shout out that you guys, if you visit London, you should definitely hit and go here. No, that's too far from that, right? If you go to Camden Market, you don't have anything to do, you have some time to spare, and you quickly want a few minutes of comic book freedom, I would say definitely go visit this shop. It's well worth it. And these were the other keys which they had put up on display. Some Demon issues, and most of the issues I had no clue what those were about, and some first issues they call it, but again nothing lock and key. Some Image ones, I would say mostly those were. And then they had on top some minor keys. They had Dracula issues, which was good. I think there was some 3 or 4 Dracula issues, not the number 1 of course, but other than that, nothing fantastic that you would carry back, right? And there were some single pound issues of Judge Dredd. I did go through it, but I didn't pick up. Those are all oversized ones, which I think somebody had sold to them, that's why they had that selection. I wanted to pick up the comic book bags and boards, but I already got it from another shop, so I skipped it from here. And yeah, I think that's mostly it, right? I wanted to show you guys a glimpse of this shop, and if you guys should visit it, and what can you expect to find. I hope that was interesting for you as well as it was for me showing it to you. So finally, I just went through the modern selection, looked at if there is any new trade paperback that has come. Also, they had some posters, by the way. I really like the Joker one, which you will see. Yes, this one right here, that was super nice. And yep, some Jim Lee ones. And finally, what did I pick up? I picked up this magazine size ones of Conan, and that was really cool. And this one with the Hulk and the Submariner, those are the only ones I picked up from that shop, because these were not very typical to find always. So but other than that, nothing too special. So that's it from me. Until next time, bye bye.